so here are the items that need to be reconciled. And this is what the bank rec is actually going to look like. So we're going to have items such as this. One part will be for the bank, one part for the books. Okay, so here is the example. As at January 31st, 2020, Business Research Incorporated books indicate a balance of $3,294.21, and the bank statement showed a balance of $5,902.48. So we've got this difference at the end of January. The next part here tells us the reconciling items that are included. So we have 4 items here and then some more here, so 10 total. And our required is to prepare the bank reconciliation for Business Research Incorporated. So these next 2 slides I've gone through and I've given you a layout. So we're just going to now fill in the information for the reconciling items and come to these reconciled balances. So we have one for the bank, and then there's one for the book side. So we always do 2 separate sides, one where the books need to be adjusted, one where the bank needs to be adjusted, or reconciled, I should say. Okay, so we were given in the question the book balance, and that I've slotted on this books page. So you start with the book balance at January 31st, and then we were also given the bank statement amount. So that goes on the bank portion of the reconciliation. Here's the bank balance at January 31st. Now we will go through each of these reconciling items and slot it in the bank rec where it needs to go. So when you get reconciling items like this, you need to ask yourself first, is it on the bank side or on the book side? Remembering that on the bank side, we record items that have not yet been recorded in the bank. On the book side, we're adjusting or reconciling for items not yet recorded in the books. So you have to figure out what type of item you have and therefore where you should record it or where you should reconcile it on the bank rec. Okay, so our first item is a deposit in transit. So for now, we can look back to this slide, but you need to know these items and know where they'll fit. So a deposit in transit, remember that's where the amount has been received by the company and recorded in their records, but it hasn't been taken to the bank yet. Therefore, we need to book it on the side where it's not yet recorded. So if it's not yet recorded by the bank, we have it as a reconciling item on the bank portion of the bank rec. And then the second question you ask is, do I add that or do I subtract it? So the deposit in transit, it has not yet been taken to the bank, but when it does, it will add or increase your bank account, and therefore we're going to put it under the add section here. So we're going to say the deposit in transit, and per the question, it was $1,591. Oops. $1,591.63. Okay, so that's the first reconciling item. So we've done this one. Number 2 is a bank error. So the bank deducted $100 for a check that was actually written by another company. So they took it out of our bank account, but we didn't write the check. So it's not something we're ever going to record on our book side because we're going to notify the bank of this error and they would put that money back into our account. So it's going to be something that the bank will have adjusted, and we need to add it because eventually they'll put it back into our account. So this bank error, it goes on the bank portion, and we need to add this amount. So a bank error always gets adjusted on the bank side, but whether you add it or subtract it is specific to the question. So here we're adding this, and it was $100 that was removed. So that is the amount that we add. Okay, so we've dealt with number 2. Number 3 says that we have outstanding checks. And it lists check number 337, 338, 339, 340, and 341. So outstanding checks, that's when we've written a check, we've mailed it to whoever, so we've done a journal entry to take it out of the bank balance in our bank record or in our accounting records. But they're outstanding, meaning they actually haven't cleared the bank. So those suppliers or whoever we sent the check to, they haven't cashed those yet. So the amount has not come out of our bank account. But eventually it will. So it hasn't been recorded by the bank yet. Therefore, we adjust it on the bank portion. And since it will decrease our balance, we need to put it under the subtract section. And you actually need to list these checks all out. So you can't just put the total. You need to list them. And the reason for that is that in next month, we need to know if these checks cleared. And we need to check each specific item to see if it came out of the bank in February. So we have to write each of these out so that we have a record of them. So 337 was for $286. 338 was $319.47. 339 was for $83. 340 was for $203.14. And the last one, number 341, was for $458.53. So we can come up with the total and subtract that over here. So the total of these checks is $1,350.14. Okay. So as we're slotting each of these reconciling items in, this question starts it a little easier. It's kind of going in order. So the next item is an EFT receipt of rent revenue. So that one I know is on the book side. So I'm just going to complete the bank portion here. And the way that you do this is that after you've added, you come up with a subtotal. So we'll add these and get to $7,594.11. So that's the subtotal there. Then we're subtracting these amounts, the outstanding checks, and we're now figuring out our reconciled bank balance. So $7,594.11 minus $1,050.14 gets us to $6,243.97. So that's the bank side. Now we'll continue through our reconciling items and we'll keep slotting those in. So number 4, as I said, is an EFT receipt of rent revenue. So remember, an EFT receipt, we can see that here on the book side and as an addition. So this is when someone direct deposited money into our bank account. So it's already been recorded by the bank, but they didn't tell us, so it's not yet recorded in the books. And we always put it on the bank rec where it's not recorded yet. So we're going to put that on the books side. And because it's a deposit that went into our account, we need to add that into the bank or into the book side. It will add to our bank balance. So here we say we need to add this deposit. Oh, sorry. Looking at the wrong thing here. We're adding the EFT receipt. Ooh. And this was for rent. So we'll make a note. It's an EFT receipt for rent, and it was $900. Okay. So we've dealt with these four. Now we can move on to number 5. A bank collection of a note receivable for $2,114, and that includes interest revenue of $114. So we had a note receivable, and the person who owed us that money, they went to the bank and they paid that off directly at the bank. So the bank collected that on our behalf and put it into our account. So again, it's gone into our bank's account, so we see it on the statement, but nothing's been recorded yet on the books. So if it's not on the books, we need to put it on that part of the reconciliation, and it's money that we collected, so we need to add that on the books portion. So here we say a bank collection, and we're going to note what it's for. It's a note receivable, and it included interest of $114. And the total amount that we add was $2,114. Okay, so we've dealt with number 5. We've got that there. The 6th reconciling item says that interest was earned on the bank balance. So because we have this positive balance in the bank, they allow us to earn interest on that amount. We earned $28.01. So the bank deposited that, but we didn't know yet, so nothing's been recorded in the books. Since it hasn't been recorded in the books, we need to put it on the books section, and interest revenue will increase our account, so we're going to add that as well. So we've got bank interest revenue, and it was $28.01. Okay, that's number 6 dealt with. Number 7 is now a book error. So wherever the error occurs, that's the part of the bank reconciliation where you'll record it. So a book error, and here check number 333 was for $150 paid to Brown Corporation. But we recorded this in the books as $510. So when we did the journal entry, we credited cash for $510 when it really only should have been $150. So we took too much out. Therefore, to correct that, we need to add back the difference. So we took $510 when we should have only taken $150, and the difference of these is $360. So this needs to be added to the book side. So we go to our book portion, and we're adding this book error correction. And we can note it was for check 333. And we said the difference that we're adjusting for is the $360. So we only need to put $360 back in because we did need $150 of that taken. Okay, so that's 7. Number 8, there were bank service charges for $39.25. So the bank charged us these service charges for something they did for us. They took this $39.25 out of our account, but nothing's been recorded in our accounting records. Since it's not recorded there, we need to reconcile it on the books balance, and we're going to subtract it because this was money coming out of our bank. So we subtract service charges, and the amount here was $39.25. So we can go ahead, we finished with this adding section, we can do our subtotal. So we add all of these items up. We get $6,696.22. Okay, so we've got our service charges taken care of. The next item is an NSF check from L. Ross for $52. So we got this check from L. Ross, we recorded the deposit, and we put it into our bank account. And the bank put it there as well. But later, the bank would have discovered that L. Ross didn't actually have enough funds to pay this $52. So since they couldn't get that money from this person's bank account, they're now taking it back out of ours. So it's come out of the bank account, but we didn't know, so nothing has been recorded on the books yet. Therefore, we need to adjust it on the book side, and it came out of our bank account, so we're going to put it under the subtract portion. So we've got this NSF check from L. Ross, and it was $52. Okay, the last item is an EFT payment to insurance expense. So we've clearly got set up for this electronic funds transfer to auto withdraw the insurance payment from our account every month. So they took the amount out for $361, but it's not been recorded in the books yet. So out of the bank, but not recorded. Therefore, on the book side, we need to subtract this. So we subtract an EFT payment, and it's for insurance, and it was $361. Okay, so we reconciled that. So that is our last reconciling item. So now we need to calculate what our ending balance is, or our reconciled book balance. So if we take the $6,696.22, subtract the service charge, the NSF check, and the EFT payment, we get to $6,243.97. So if we take a look, the ending or the reconciled bank balance is equal to our reconciled book balance. That means we haven't missed any reconciling items, and we know all of the reasons why there was these differences in the opening or the book balance at the end of the month and the bank balance at the end of the month. So we've reconciled these differences.